Huh. Wonder what we're having for dinner tonight. Ah! You know what's in there? Chicken. We're having chicken again.
Yes, my beloved husband, we are going to have chicken again. We are going to have Arroz con Pollo. That's basically chicken and rice. It is so good. Minimal ingredients. Feeds a lot of people. Can be done in less than an hour. Fits all my criteria and it tastes so good. So let's get started. All right, this is actually one of my kids' favorite meals when they were growing up, because I could have this on the table in an hour and they'd be happy as punch. So let's go on over here and I'll tell you what the ingredients are and we'll get started. You'll need some chicken broth, either canned or your own. You'll need some peas, either frozen or canned. Some olive oil, some water, some salt, some rice, some red peppers, some oregano, some pimento stuffed olives, some minced garlic, either a bell pepper or some little sweet peppers, a whole onion. Now I am out of onion, like fresh, but I keep frozen onions in my freezer all the time, so I figure that's about an onion, so that's what we're gonna go with. And chicken legs and thighs. That's your entire ingredient list. So easy. For this recipe, you don't need any skin or fat. You know, you do use the legs and thighs, but you take the skin off because it's just going to get mushy inside that rice and nobody wants that anyway. So I started to go ahead and do it ahead of time, and then I thought, you know what, I'll go ahead and I'll show you how to do that and then what I do with that skin. So as you can see, I took all the skin off. I've took all and cut all the fat off. We're just going to go up in there, start yanking, pull that off. Booyah! Alright, get that fat, cut that off. Now, we are not going to throw that away. I paid good money for that. We're going to put that in a Ziploc bag that I labeled chicken skin. We're going to pick all of it up, put it all in the bag. Drip some of that excess water off, but get that, get it all in that bag. And just keep filling that bag till you get it full. Boil it up, make your own chicken broth, and you didn't have to go buy a can, and it didn't cost you anything. You already paid for it. All right, we're gonna shoot for a medium high flame. It's about right there. Slide that pan over, and we are gonna get her hot. Now we're going to lightly salt this chicken. I'm not going to put a super bunch of salt on there because I'm going to salt the dish again. And I don't want to overdo it. But I do want some salt on my chicken. The salt's all relative. You can put more or less. That is all up to you. All right, my pan is hot now, and I know it's hot because I put my hand inside the pan an inch or so above the top of or above the bottom of the pan, and I can feel the heat. So now we're going to put some oil in this pan, just a couple tablespoons. All right, just a couple of tablespoons. I'm already smoking. I know my pan got too hot. All right. Now we're going to rub it around coat the bottom of the pan all the way around. Just like that. Now let's get our chicken in there. Sizzle, hear that? That lets you know your pan's plenty hot enough. And we're just gonna set those quarters in there. And we're gonna set those quarters in there, and we're gonna leave room in between them so that they're actually frying and not steaming. I'm gonna leave it on that side for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then I'm gonna flip it over for another 5 to 7, and then I'm gonna take it out. That's what we're gonna do. Why are you looking at me? Now, since these were frozen and I made them into pretty chunky, and I want them a little bit finer for this recipe, so we're gonna take them and we're gonna drop them out on there. And because they're frozen now, they're kind of mushy, so I'm just gonna take my Euro chopper, and that's what I'm gonna use to make them fine. And if you don't have a Euro chopper, you don't know what you're missing. These things are so much fun, and they, you know, this one's called a Power Chopper XL, but the one that I had for years and years and years was called a Euro chopper. Anyway, they're so much fun. Now let's get our pepper ready to cut, because I'm just going to do it the same way. And I'm not so worried about these seeds. If there's a few left in there, it's not a big deal because they're not hot. I am going to add a little heat though with my red peppers there, but not worried about these. Okay, I'm just going to do the same thing with those. Whack, 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 whack. Look at there. Oh. Okay, we're at that 7-minute mark. And you know what? I don't think that's ready to flip. So we're going to let it go for 10. Yep, we're going to let it go for 10 and then we'll flip. Okay, now it's time to run 10 minutes on the back side. Same thing, make sure that they're not like totally touching as best you can. These are the big, I just don't know where they find these chickens. My chickens don't look like that.
While this chicken's cooking, we're going to give a shout out to Olivia. She's in Cantonment, Florida. Population 26,940.
Salute.
How about that? Yeah.
Okay, I've got my 10 minutes per side, and it's nice and brown. And we're going to take it out and just set it on a plate. It is nowhere near done cooking, but I need my pan for the rest of it. So, at this point, we're going to turn it down to medium. And we're going to add a little more oil, just maybe a tablespoon. We're going to add our vegetables. And get that dropped in there. And give that a stir. We're going to give that a little stir. And for 3 or 4 minutes, we're just going to let that brown. All right, now we're going to go in with some garlic. We're going to need a teaspoon of garlic. Actually, we like garlic, so I'm going to go in with probably another half. Just because I like garlic, you don't have to. And we're going to go in with some red pepper flakes. And I'm just going to drop some of those. Give that a little stir. Those are all relative. That depends on how much you like. You know, if you don't like red pepper, don't put any in there at all. It's not going to change the flavor that much. It's just going to give it a little heat. Okay. All right, we got that in there. Now we're going to come in. I'm going to come in with some salt. Now remember, I salted my chicken, so I'm just going to kind of go across it like that, about how much I think 1 cup of rice needs. So that's what that is. And we're going to go ahead and put our oregano in there. And we'll also need a teaspoon of oregano. Now we need 1 cup of rice. Sprinkle that around. And I think that I'm going to put just a tad more oil in there because I need to brown that rice a little bit. And there's not any oil left in that pan. So about 1 more tablespoon ought to do me. Now we'll get that stirred up. We're going to brown that rice for about 5 minutes. Now, periodically through that 5 minutes, you're going to need to move that rice around. I mean, you don't want it to scorch or burn. So we're just going to keep moving it around a little bit, and then we'll let it sit, and then we'll move it around a little bit and let it sit. Okay, now we're going to get our chicken broth in there. I can work the can opener. There we go. All right. Now we're going to turn her back up on high. And we're going to, and I need 1/4 to 1/2 cup of water. We're going to give that a stir. We're going to let that come to a boil. Then we're going to put our chicken and our pan juices back in there. All right, let's get the chicken and those pan juices back in there. Get that lid on. Because I'm back up to a boil now. I've got a good boil, so now I'm going to turn it down to low. Okay, at this point, about 5 minutes before it's done, you'll want to just go ahead and put your peas in there. Because they don't need to cook, you know, they don't need to get soft and yucky. They just need to be in there and warm. Now I can't get it open. There we go. Now then, and I'm not going to pour that juice in there. I'm just going to dip me out some peas. Alright, now we're just going to pierce that chicken. And it's coming off the bone. So we are done. Hallelujah. Alright, now we're going to take our chicken out. We're going to go in here and get some of our peas. I'm not even going to use the whole thing. I'm just going to put a few. Give that a stir. Make sure I hadn't stuck. And I haven't. So there you go. All right. Now, one more thing. And we'll be done. Now we're going to need like 1/4 of a cup of stuffed olives. It looks like about 1/4 of a cup to me. And we're just going to cut those up. Nothing fancy. We're just going to cut them up a little bit. Good to me. If y'all found any value in our videos, like, subscribe, and share, and come back and see me. Bye.